Doing this 2 weeks in the hopes that you have that you like it and you build a habit for it. Real Clear Politics is a good thing to get in the habit of reading, because they their model is they read 50 or so publications on a daily basis, and they sift out the articles they think you should read. So there's about 10 or 20, or it could be 30 articles that, and it's really from literally hundreds and hundreds of articles every day that they're picking up on. And they're just, maybe it's a web crawler that they use, or I'm not quite sure how they do it, but they do a pretty good job. They don't catch everything, but it's a way into everything, because I'll read the Washington Post, and then I'll go and look at the most emailed stories on the side there, and then maybe Real Clear Politics has missed something, and I'll find it there. But it's just a way into. I want to make a strong argument for getting into the news and reading the news regularly, and especially important for this class, because I'm going to use the context of the public debate inside the Beltway here as as the grist for what we're going to use, in terms of teaching investigative reporting. So you need to know what's going on. You need to know what's happening here. Okay.
What's the top 5 to 10 publications that you read on a daily basis?
Well, so I read Real Clear Politics, which means I read 15 or 20 or 30 publications on a daily basis. I get through the Times and the Post and the Wall Street Journal pretty regularly. And then I read Real Clear Politics, and then who knows where that takes me. I mean, so I read the Daily Beast regularly. I read Plumline. I read Sean Trend. I read the Horse Race Blog. I read, I read a lot of things, but not every day. And Real Clear Politics helps me sort of get to it, and then off I go. I spend about, I don't know, on a good day, I'd spend 2 hours reading. On a bad day, 20 or 30 minutes. Feel pretty naked in the days that I'm reading 20 or 30 minutes. Okay. Feel somewhat exposed to, in fact, what I don't know. So I want you to start to feel that way. Actually, this is not just for this course, but I want you to feel that way. I want you to sort of, if you don't like reading news, change your profession. Go do something, and that's fine. You don't have to be a journalist. It's okay. But so you want to be able to understand what's going on. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of one thing for me, actually. Up until maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I really read the news or listen to the news. I feel like I'm kind of new at getting into this.
And that's a wonderful thing. And that's a wonderful thing. A new perspective on it is, we regularly change reporters' beats when they start to they act a certain way, actually. And change the subject. Gotta go do something else. If you're a good investigative reporter, and I used to do this sometimes when building credibility with a source, I give you one word. Let me see, what would be a word? Offshore leases. Okay, just give you a word. Okay, a good investigative reporter, 2 days from now, will be able to tell me the most important thing that's going on in offshore leasing. Just the word. And I used to do that when I was on Capitol Hill, and I would try to. Hi, I'm John Grano. I work for inside the Pentagon, and I'd like to talk to you about questions. I don't talk to reporters. Well, sir, please. I really would like you to just give me a chance. I'm really, I actually can be useful. No, I don't talk to reporters. Well, tell you what, you give me a word. What do you mean? You give me a word, any word. You just give me a word. You pick a word, and in 2 days I'll be back to you about what's going on. Okay, so he gives me a word. M1A1, he says. It's a tank. And in and give me your email. And in 2 days, I send him an email that says, finding out, the Pentagon's decided to cancel half their M1A1 program in FY05. That was back then. In FY05, and for these reasons. Okay. you became a source. Okay, and I have this memo that you don't have. Okay, so that's how you want to that's how you want to start looking at life. You say, I can go get anything. I can go find. What's that about? Well, do I have to know? I'm sorry, I gotta go now. That's you got to build that. You got to build that hunger into what you do, because you never know when you're going to be able to use it. And once again, you never. I sent you 2 articles along with this piece. One was an interesting piece about how people don't believe facts. Like sometimes they, what did they describe it? They, I forget the name of the article. It was a backfire. Facts backfire. I thought it was a fascinating. You really should read it, because really your whole reason for being as a journalist is to place credible facts in front of someone. And it's kind of a little discouraging if they don't mean anything to people. But you need to understand that part about people if you're really into doing this. The facts backfiring is actually an interesting sociological research-based exegesis of the concept of God hardening someone's heart. Have you ever struggled with reading that God hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he became, and you sort of want to, you want to get God on the phone and say, wait a minute, don't you want everyone to see your truth? And why did you harden his heart? Why did you make him be your opponent? Well, if you study that more, you see this particular principle in this article. Some people are so given to their own beliefs that when they're faced with things that contravene their own beliefs, that contradict their own beliefs, they are so invested in what it is that they believe that they have to reject it, even though they're rejecting truth. They just reject truth. And they're okay with rejecting truth, even knowing that it's truth, because what they believe is more important than truth. That's when you understand that's how God hardens someone's heart. Okay, the truth of God is so destabilizing for them. They're not saying it's not true. They're just saying, I hate you for that. I will be even stronger in what I believe because I will not change. Your heart gets harder and harder and harder. You start to reject truth. So it's a little challenging to read this article that it's sociologically proven, because a journalist would like to believe what? If you lay the facts on the table, that society is better. Okay. But you got to read this article. You really have to just absorb and adjust, and believe that you're still laying out what the fruit is of things, one way or the other, is still worth it for the planet. Because not everyone does this. Other people, God is using a fact that you might have delivered to bring them to Christ, to increase their as the next step in their own personal sanctification walk if they're already believers. You never know. So that's that one article. The second article is an article written in March about being progressive and being Barack Obama, and I've recommended the article a number of times, and it's along the lines of what I was saying. Is you need to understand everyone's position as if you could articulate it. As if you could be their press person. Okay, this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful article explaining just why Barack Obama acts the way he does. Because sometimes, I don't know if sometimes he can be confusing in terms of his decisions that he's making. It's why you're really upsetting people. Don't you see that they don't want you to do that? And so you sort of, this guy's just dumb. Well, that's not true. He really believes something. And he's acting according to a set of principles that he really believes in. And this is a wonderful article to get you to get what they're doing. This particular article sort of says that they're actually channeling George Bush, believe it or not. They admire George Bush's ability to believe in something and stay the course despite opposition to him. Okay, and they had noticed that people actually start to admire him for, like they are, admire him for being believers. They call it the jumbo jet philosophy. And they believe that the reason why they have not done well in progressive policy is that they're sort of too touchy-feely. They don't, I believe and we should go this way and you should follow me, and you know, because George did that in the other way, and that's why this nation's all screwed up, because George was the jumbo jet and they were the Piper Cub, you know. So they're going to be a jumbo jet, and you know that's why they get their own members to the party to walk the plank. You know what I mean by walk the plank? They're not going to get reelected. Stupak is not getting, well, I think he actually dropped out of his race, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. You know, he can't, you know, they got their own members to walk the plank. Blanche Lincoln's going to get thrown out. You know, what's his name? Who's that other guy that changed his position? The senator, Pryor, not Pryor.
Oh, the healthcare debate?
Yeah, in the healthcare debate. Who's the Midwest senator that just acted like such a...
The guy from Nebraska.
Yeah, the guy from Nebraska. I'm spacing on his name, but yeah. So how's he going to get reelected? It's going to be very hard. So, but anyway, they're okay with that because jumbo jet. Got it? You know, do we believe in what we're believing? So this is a wonderful article, you know, describing that. It's written by a liberal commentator, so it's, you know, that adds to its credibility as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't have believed it as much if Bill O'Reilly had written it. You know, so there. So those are two articles. I will be sending. I have a bunch of other articles. I'll just kind of send you stuff that I've, you know, with a little narrative from, you know, as to why I think, you know, it might be useful for you to derive something from these particular articles. And then I sort of ask that you read Real Clear Politics, and every class from now on will start with a 15-minute what's going on drill. Okay?